Hey guys, welcome back to today's workout. We're doing a glute activation, a full warm-up, and then we're going to head into leg day. We're going to start with my full warm-up routine. This consists of several exercises to get you mobile and moving before your session, as well as activating your glutes so they're fully firing, so that when you go and do your workout, you're making the most of that workout and you are pushing your muscles to their full potential. As you can see, I started with big stride forward lunges and I'm just finishing my reverse lunges. This is to start getting my hips moving and to start engaging my glutes because I'm pushing through my front foot through each lunge and that's getting my glute going. Now we're moving on to inchworm crawls. This is one of my favourite exercises that really helps my flexibility. I'm looking to increase the length of my hamstrings as well as get my whole body moving and stretching out my lower back, as you can see. The key is to walk your feet into your hands as close as possible, and then you're going to walk out and bend that back towards the sky and open up that chest as well. So now we move on to lateral lunges because I want to start moving my body in several planes of motion so that the glutes are fully fired up from all angles. Now be sure with this one that you hinge your hips back and you sit into your heel. I don't want your knees going over your toes. I want you to sit right back into your heel and push through each lunge so you can feel your butt beginning to burn. Once you've done your left leg, then do it on the right leg. Once again, sitting right back, as you can see, keeping the other leg nice and straight and planted on the floor, but not too much weight in it. All the weight should be in the leg that is bending. I wanted to show you how I put my hip circle on, as many of you ask about it, and I like to position it just above my knees so that I'm really targeting my glutes and my knees are nice and stable as well. So as you can see, I'm doing banded squats, getting nice and low as possible, sitting right back into those heels, and immediately as I begin to push up, I'm engaging my glutes from the offset. So right here now, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as I push up. As you can see, my pace is nice and controlled and I'm aiming to do about 15 of these with slow and controlled pace to keep that time under tension so my muscles have to adapt to what the stress I'm putting it under. So keep the band on and pop yourself on the floor. You're now going to do a glute bridge with an adductor push. Simply, you're doing your glute bridge as usual with the band over the top of your knees on your thighs, and you're just pushing your legs open wider than hip width, bringing them back to hip width, and then controlling your body down to the floor without putting your weight on the floor. The key thing is, once again, it's the old time under tension trick. You've got to keep your weight in the heels as you push up. Now, not only will you be working your glutes, you should feel this in your lower back and maybe even your hamstrings as well. So keep pushing and using your core to kind of hold it up there, and then you control it down again. Repeat this about 15 times and trust me, you will feel the burn and you will be willing to get that band off as soon as possible. But it's not over because we finish with my beloved crab walks. These are fantastic at getting that glute med. If you weren't activated already, you will be now. Okay, 10 to the right, 10 to the left, finish you off, weight back in the heels in kind of a semi-squat almost, and you will be feeling that for sure. So that was just the warm-up. The warm-up is done. Now we move on to your actual workout. We're going to start with a sumo deadlift pyramid. Now you might notice from previous workouts that I do like to start all my workouts with a compound movement. This means I'm just hitting a ton of muscles through one exercise. Today it's the sumo deadlift and I'm starting with kind of a warm-up set of my pyramid. I'm starting at 40 kilos. Now for me this is more of a warm-up and I'm really just focusing on nailing my form and really strong technique. As you can see with a sumo deadlift, the difference is your feet are nice and wide and open in a wide stance with your feet turned out and heels slightly forward, and as you can see you really have to squeeze your glutes as you bring that bar up and bring the bar to your hips. This first set is in real time, but I will be speeding up the sets as we go because I've kind of included the whole pyramid for you to see. So now I'm adding on 10 kilos on each side and I'm putting it up to 60 kilos, which is now beginning to really challenge me. With your pyramid, the way it works is that you start with a high volume of reps, and as each set carries on, you decrease the number of reps and increase the weight. So then you work towards lifting the heaviest that you can do for that particular rep range. Today I'm doing about a 12, a 10 and an 8 rep, and I'm going to try and go my max for 8 reps with good form. Like I said, today I have sped up the footage, but if you wanted to see a full breakdown of squats, deadlifts, pull-ups in their own video, in their own right, and tutorials on how to get the form and things like that, then please let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in. So now I'm heading to the peak of my pyramid, so to speak, and I'm chucking on 2 5-kilo plates on each side, and I'm going to do 70 kilos. Now, if I'm honest, this isn't the heaviest I've ever lifted, but I'm currently in the process of building my strength back up in my deadlifts, as I have had lower back issues this year. So I'm really working myself into getting back to those heavy lifts, but I'm patient and I'm doing it slowly and I'm doing it sensibly. I have to say this set was a bit of a struggle, mainly because the bar was just slipping out of my hands. So I think the answer to that is either get some chalk, get some gloves, or get some wrist straps to help my grip. So for these last 2 sets, I did drop down to 60 kilos again because I just wanted to make sure that my form was, top notch, and I wasn't going to exacerbate my lower back niggle that has been winding me up this year. So I just really focused on good form and a strong finish. Now, according to Brett Contreras, you may have heard of him, he's called the Glute Guy. The hip thrust is the #1 glute exercise, and I've included it in my workout today. This has been a while since I've done this one actually, and I was inspired by Zana, who loves a hip thrust. So I decided to chuck them in this workout. I did 3 sets, but I did a superset, so I got plenty of volume in. So I did include earlier in the clip how to get into doing your hip thrusts, but just make sure that your mid-back is balanced on the bench. Your feet and your heels, most importantly, are planted into the floor, and they're relatively close to your glutes. As you can see, I'm controlling down for about 2 to 3 counts before thrusting up, big thrusts with a slight pause at the top. Always pushing through my heels and always making sure that the initial push comes from my glutes as well, and you'll feel this in your lower back, your hamstrings and your glutes. Then we're going to superset this one with single leg glute bridges. So it's the same principle, but you take the load off and you just focus on body weight. This is once again kind of an afterburn effect, that time under tension, just really challenging the muscle with more volume of training and isolating it to a unilateral exercise, which means you do it on one leg too. It's tough, it burns, it hurts, but oh my goodness, it's worth it and you get a great butt pump. So trust me on this one, guys. So I wanted to add some variation into my leg day, and I decided to mix up from my normal leg press. I decided to do single leg press, something that I haven't done that much before, but the basic aim is to work my leg unilaterally again. So it's really making sure both my weight distribution on each leg are even and equal, and my strength is equal on each leg. So it's really important to do 2 leg work, such as squats and deadlifts and such, but it's also really important to add in single leg work into your workouts. So the aim of this is once again to push it through the heel. As you can see, my range of motion wasn't as good on my right leg as my left leg, which I found really interesting. So that's something I definitely need to work on. You're aiming to do about 10 reps on each side. It's actually really tough. As you can see, I'm trying to get a 90-degree angle with my leg as I lower down, and when I push up, I'm not locking my leg out, I am keeping a bit of tension in the legs. And to superset with this, we are bringing back the hip circle of joy, not the band of doom, the hip circle of joy, I think that's what we should call it. Now we're going for our goblet squat, which we warmed up for in our warm-up and our glute activation. I'm adding in a 20-kilo kettlebell though this time, so it's a little bit tougher. Once again, you're just aiming on getting down nice and low with a really good control, and then pushing up through those heels and squeezing that bum at the top. I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not getting my full body in this shot, but it is tricky filming yourself in the gym. To begin our final superset, we're going to start with kettlebell Romanian deadlifts. You may have seen me do this in the last leg video with 1 kettlebell. Well, today I decided to do 2 kettlebells so I could get a bit more weight in there. Now, if you don't have access to kettlebells, you can use heavy dumbbells too, but this is a really good way of getting a really full range of motion with your Romanian deadlift. As always, sitting back in the hill, you can see my toes are actually coming off a little bit, and I'm really focusing on stretching my hamstrings to their absolute limit before using my glutes to squeeze me to stand back up. And yes, this workout does work the back of the legs primarily, but it does also work your back too, so make sure that you're really engaging your lats, keeping your core tight and your back nice and flat and stable. No curved backs, please. And the second and last exercise in this superset is a single leg step up with a kettlebell. Now once again, I do apologise for my kind of rubbish filming. I barely got my upper body in at all, but I am holding the kettlebell in the goblet position, which is the same position I held it in with the goblet squat too. So just if you quickly look at that, you'll see how I'm holding it. Now I'm making sure to use just my left leg here to push myself up, pushing through my heel, making sure my legs are at a 90-degree angle and isolating that leg and isolating that glute. It's really tough and there are a few wobbles in this little clip that you'll see, but yeah, it does the trick like they all do the job. So while you watch me finish off this workout, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Let me know what workouts you want to see next in the comments below. The outfit will be linked in the comments below. It's a Puma one and I'm in love with it, as well as where you can get the hip circle from, because I know you're going to ask. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Yeah, have a great week. Bye bye.